I think I would say two things, Achim. The first is that one of the things that is going to stand UNEP in good stead is to be able to consistently demonstrate unassailable competence. And I say that because I have been so impressed with the work that you've done in the last couple of years, particularly the work on the green economy. But when I see the work on the identification of emerging issues and the real solid scientific base from which those documents have been prepared, and that's what I mean by competence. And I think there is no one who can touch you in terms of the quality of that work, and that should stand you in good stead. So regardless of what happens, that underpinning of strong scientific competence is absolutely important. The second thing that's important is the ability to be agile, to be able to look at what's ahead. I mean, look at technology. Look at the field of genomics. The capacity to change life as we know it. Someone has to be analyzing that, explaining it, and thinking ahead as to what kind of policies the world is going to come together around. And that's just one kind of technology. It's incredibly important. Thirdly, I think the one issue that further work needs to be done on is the social dimension. And I don't mean eradicating poverty, as important as that is, but it's how one learns to live with technological change, with environmental change in the coming decade, and really have it become a prerequisite that social license is obtained to operate in most fields, and that isn't true in most countries now. So room for all kinds of subject matter that you've already identified, but being on the leading edge is critical. The issue of environmental governance, global governance, for me is one that I've done a lot of work in at UNEP and beyond, and with individual countries. If you'd asked me as an outsider early on, I would have said, coming out of Rio, that, in fact, I did say you needed to create constructive damage to the status quo, was the phrase that I used, because I really believed that the agenda coming out of Rio was revolutionary enough that that's what it demanded. After being at UNEP, there's clearly not a will for that to occur, or there wasn't. Governments are much happier with evolutionary, not revolutionary change. And so you see step-by-step changes all the way. At this point in time, and I recognize that I am certainly not up to speed on all of the proposals that are being made, but at a minimum, creating a specialized agency would send a message within the system, particularly, that I think the authoritative approach that UNEP needs to take, and perhaps even the attraction of additional resources would allow that to happen. I don't think a specialized agency in itself is the answer. And what I worry about most is that continuing discussion about governance is a distraction. It stops us from dealing with the real issues and the implementation of the real issues. And so either get it done at Rio +20 or stop talking about it for some time to come. Just get on with the work. We've spent 20 years talking about governance, and we've made very precious little progress so far. A specialized agency may be as far as we can get at this point in time, but as I say, it's time to call the discussion to a close.